Good morning, TikTok. What I got to say now is very important. I would ask that you share this video and listen to it in its entirety because I think we're being played. Honestly, I know we're being played. The police departments in Aurora County and in Aurora and in Denver are saying that no, the migrants have not taken over these apartment complexes. There's been isolated incidents. There have been some crime. There's been some issues that have occurred, but this is nothing more than a hoax to try to get us to rise up and do something stupid so they can call for an insurrection. The Hells Angels are not on their way to Aurora, okay? I've been on the phone all day talking with people, trying to organize, trying to get things going so we can go up there. There's no point in it. I would say there would be a point in it, but the fact is they're trying to lure us into a situation where we shoot off some weapons, they shoot off some weapons, and then they call for an insurrection. And that the white MAGA extremists have caused this. That way they can call for an insurrection, and when you call for an insurrection, then that way can they take away the 2A, the Second Amendment. So that's what it's all about. That's all it's about. There's not been any apartment complexes completely taken over by, at least that's what the police say, a conservative police officer. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But what I do know is this. While we're busy doing this, while we're busy looking to Aurora, on September the 22nd in New York City, and this is what is very important, the UN will meet at the UN building for a summit. This summit theme will be global warming, of course, as it always is. They need to push the crisis. But you say, well, why would they push a crisis like this right now? Because they need jurisdiction of the United States. The World Governance Court is trying its best to figure out a way to get around the Connolly Reservation, which is Tom Connolly from Texas, who with a bill, he wrote a bill that said that the UN and the United Nations or the World Governance Court, the World Governing Court cannot take jurisdiction over the United States at any time. Okay, that was passed, and they cannot have any jurisdiction here. They can right now. The Blue Hats cannot come to our country. They cannot because of the Tom Connolly Reservation. You can look it up. What they're coming for on September 22nd is to figure out a way to get around that, or try to figure out a way to get Congress to strip us of that bill, repeal that bill, to make it where they can get jurisdiction. See, what they want to do is what the summit. You can go to the summit, go online, look it up. The UN summit that's going to happen in September. They want to figure out a way to repeal that, because what they want to do is they want to say that they will have jurisdiction over the United States in a time of crisis, and they're going to say, now we need this. All the countries need to get involved in this, because just like the pandemic, we have another pandemic. The WHO, the World Health Organization, will need to have jurisdiction of your country so we can pass out the proper medications and things that these people need so desperately to get them through this pandemic. Well, we know that this last pandemic was a hoax for the most part. Yes, it was a pandemic. Yes, people died, but they only died because the hospitals killed them. They gave them remdesivir, shut their kidneys down and killed them. We're living in some really, really fucked up times. Really fucked up times. Okay, so anyway, they want to repeal this. So, but it also, when you read between the lines, it says in a time of crisis they could come over to the United States to take jurisdiction. Okay, now the Tom Connolly thing says, the reservation says that they can't do that. So they're trying to figure out a way around it. What theirs says is that they have the authority and to take jurisdiction in a time of crisis. Now, a time of crisis could be any kind of crisis. For example, we have a leader that's a white supremacist, which we know better. But let's say Donald Trump becomes president, and on September 22nd they figure out a way to get control of the United States in a time of crisis. Well, they can call it a crisis that he's in office, and therefore they would have because it's through their governance court, they could have him arrested and gone before the courts in the World Court. Now, that's my opinion on that, but it is a fact that they're trying to take jurisdiction, and it's not for, trust me, it's not for medical emergencies. Trust me on that. My glasses look stupid. Y'all forgive me. These glasses right here are, they look really, I've got tape on them because they broke. But I want to read you something. I want to read you something about the last step in the 45 steps to take over a country and to turn it communist. The Communist Manifesto, there's 45 steps in it. The last step of that manifesto says this: repeal the Connolly Reservation so the U.S. cannot prevent the World Court from seizing jurisdiction during their domestic problems. That's the last step of that's the last step they need in the 45 steps to take over the United States. Some of those steps are accuse your opponent of exactly what you're doing. That's one step. They do that every day. Another step would be to take control away from the police departments and give it to social workers. We saw that during George Floyd with the defund the police thing. They've already done that. Another one is to downgrade the Constitution of the United States, say that it was written many years ago and it's outdated, and that's another thing on this summit. It talks about to take away the structures that get in the way. Removing the structures. Well, what is the structure? The Constitution of the United States. So I'm warning you guys right now, and you know that something's going on, but this is what it is. It's not left versus right. It's not left versus right and right versus left. Let me tell you right now, it's way bigger than that. We have big problems coming up. They're also talking in the summit about migration, and they're saying they recognize migration as a much needed problem to world hunger and world starvation. So they will be helping migrants come to the U.S. and to the U.K. They will be flooding our borders with migrants. So, but to do that, the UN will need jurisdiction over the United States. I mean, we're doing a pretty good job of ourselves of flooding the United States with them already. There's so many evils at work right here, right now. All you have to do is read between the lines. I would suggest that every one of you go to the website. You won't, especially on the left. You won't. You'll call me a conspiracy theorist. But it's all there in black and white. You can read it. It's many pages. It's boring, but it talks a lot about a bunch of bullshit about global warming and all this other crap. All the regular lies that they push. But this one's the most important. They want to get rid of this. They don't say anything about the Tom Connolly Reservation. They don't say that. They say ways of. It talks about ways of removing structures. Well, the structure would be the Constitution or this Tom Connolly thing. They want jurisdiction in the United States, period. They need it for the one world government to take effect. They got to have it. The only way they can get it is we give it to them. Well, who's giving away everything we got right now? The left and the right. While they've got us fighting each other and worried about these stupid Venezuelans in Aurora, Colorado, they're planning a very serious situation where they take control of the United States of America. Let me tell you, the right and left, the Republicans and Democrats are one snake with two heads. It's a two-headed snake. Because you haven't heard Marjorie Taylor Greene or any of these hardcore conservative right-wingers say anything about this coming up on the 22nd, and they know about it. And that's the most important day in our history. They've not said one word about it. I've not seen it on Fox. I've not seen anywhere any conservative talking about it. I haven't seen the left talking about it either. They're not going to. But why? Why aren't they talking about it? That's the most important news that you could hear ever. Is that the United States is about to give our sovereignty away. We're in deep shit. Unless somebody takes that building out, we're in deep crap. And then they'll just do it another way. You know Joe Biden will sign it right over if he can. Now I would think it would have to go through Congress or go through the Senate and then or even to the Supreme Court. I would think that the Supreme Court would even get involved in it. But at this point, I'm not sure who to trust. I know that Donald Trump's not in it because he went to the UN and he gave him a big middle finger. Y'all remember that? He told him, we're not going to be giving our sovereignty away from you. We're pulling out. And he was also shot. So I don't think Donald Trump has anything to do with this. He hasn't mentioned it, but he's done too much to fight against it. Nobody else has. That's why I'm concerned. Nobody else has. This is a world governance court thing. This is a UN running this country, and they have anyway. They've been running it by proxy through Joe Biden, through Obama, through the Bushes. Yeah. Reagan was the last one that was a real American that loved this country. Ronald Reagan. Everybody since then are communist piece of shits, even on the right. Even on the right. So people, I don't know what to tell you anymore. I don't know. We get all emotional and we get they're hoping that our feelings will get in the way of all this and that we'll rise up and fight each other. That's what they're hoping. They really are. And when they do that, then they can have the right to take away our 2A and call for a martial law. But now, we're a mighty big country to be involved with martial law. I don't know how they could ever do that. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. We're fighting the one world government. That's what it is. Unfortunately, we've got people in our office, in our Congress, that's all for it. Y'all have a good night or good morning. Cheers.